guys, my name is Shan Shania. I'm 12 years old. I'm Canadian/East African, and welcome to Saftech Canada Academy. Today we're going to be going through a good topic that you love, and me and Shania also love, and it's the topic of interior designer. And I'm here with a special person that actually has a future with it, and she's going to be representing herself, so let's get to it.
You guys already know me. My name is Shan Shania. I'm 8 years old. I'm Canadian/East African. So today we're going to be learning about what is interior designer and how is interior designer. So let's get to it and let's jump into it.
Okay.
So we're going to start with what is interior designer. So basically, interior designer is like, let's say I'm trying to, this is my new house. I want to put in what a house needs. So we're going to say a house needs some couches, beds, whatever, and obviously a design. Every house needs a design. And a design, stuff like that. And now we're going to be talking about how to use interior design. So we're going to be using an example. So let's say I'm an interior designer and he is my boss.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's say he wants to do a house. So first type you have to know is you have to have a big paper. Like if you can maybe draw what your boss needs, you can like try to do it, and then do you maybe think you can only write it, but you can. It's not like you can only write it, but you have to do the house too. So you have to bring people to work with you, so you can do more, because interior designers obviously not that interior designers obviously not. So let's try and do the example.
So pretty much an example I could say is that an interior designer has to also, I can say, follow by the rules and also try to have a professional encounter and accomplish what is actually said. Because that boss of yours that actually wants you to do that, like house, what it needs with the couch and everything like that, just remember, he wants you to be committed and he wants you to be sure of what you're doing. So you have to also have yourself with confidence and actually show that you're actually worth what you're going to be doing, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. That is what makes like an interior designer. So you can't stop that. You have to have that goal all the time. So another thing as well, when you're an interior designer, you have to have a creative mind. You have to look for new ideas. You have to look and dig deep and dig deeper and all through ideas. And also, you can also have inspiration from something that you love, something that you've dreamed of, or something like you've always seen, and you always wanted to create that kind of thing. That's just things that you always have to do in your interior designer career. And also, when you do that, you also have to be a good friend with the industry. Because you can't be against it, because in the interior designer industry, you have to know that if you're doing this design for this boss, remember, if you see that it's good, he's going to give you connections to another boss, to who is bigger. You go to that one, another boss who is bigger. And the whole time, you're going to be getting up to percentages of being bigger in the industry, from 10%, 20%, 30%, and up and going, etc. So that's how you do when you're an interior designer, and you also have to be committed. That's the whole point. And you also have to know that you can't always compare yourself to others. What you have to do, you have to also compare. You can't compare, but you can also be like, you know what? I want to be better than that person that is way better than me, and I want to be better than them, so I can improve and see my kind of type and see, okay, if I'm doing this now, right, I want to also be better than that person. So you have to have that goal all the time, instead of comparing yourself to someone that is not even big yet. So that's how it goes, and Shan is also going to be telling us how you can use it and how you can have, the industry, going.
Yeah, so talking about number 2 step. So number 2 step, basically, Shan was actually very right to communicate with your boss. So you have to be friends with your boss, because if you don't be friends with your boss, you gotta make yourself happy when you're working, even if it's hard or not. And you have to try as hard to bring more ideas. This, like Sean said, you can't just say, "Oh, boss, I can't do this. This is too hard. This." Like an example, this couch is too heavy. This because all that is happening doesn't mean that you can do it. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. You can do it because always everybody say you should believe in yourself. So let's Sean say the examples.
So another thing I could definitely say, I can also add on to that fact, is that Shan is actually pretty right about that. But not only that as well, you have to also show that you don't have any limits. You have to show that you can go beyond creative. You can go beyond inventions. Not just be creative, but invention, like invent something, invent a design that people would see art through and people would see, good through. And everything that you do as an interior designer, it also mixes with your feelings. Because you can't just put like a brown couch over there, like an example, and it doesn't sit right with your feeling. Anything you're feeling in the way of color or kind of material, like the leather of a couch or the leather of anything else, electronic like a TV, all of that, how you're feeling and how the art you want to build, it just works like that. So you can even see it throughout, a person building a house. Because if you're building a house, the first step, you have to build the house, have the whole plan, have the plot. But before you do that, you have to also have architecture. And the architecture, the job is to really make the design of the house, the outside, the inside, make it look good, make it look like very impressive, make it look classic in any type of way you're feeling. So that's one thing. And then after you're building the house and it's already done, you need an interior designer that sees it in the way of art and all of that. So also Shine is going to be continuing like my example.
So number three is when you're doing interior designer, you have to even be friends with the people you're working with.
Exactly.
Because as you always see, people, let's say an example, I'm in the kitchen, I cook, and I'm like a chef. And I have to be friends with the people that work with me. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing interior designer, you have to put your heart in it. Because if you don't put your heart in it, there's no art that is going to be seen in that. Which Sean was very right about. You have to put your heart in it. Like, you have to be like, maybe you would like this. If you put your heart in it, it can definitely happen. And like Sean say an example.
So this is the number 3 example pretty much, and this is the last of the video. And I can definitely say another thing that, when you're doing this interior designer kind of, creative way, you also have to know that you have to learn about it, because interior designer has so many details. You can't just go on YouTube and learn about it. You can try, but you also have to search for yourself and all have these details, have a good fitting, everything, because interior designer also requires drawing for good talented art drawing, and also requires different kind of images that you see in your brain that you have to recreate, or anything that you've seen that is inspiration that you can recreate in your art and your power of anything you're doing. So that's how you always work with an interior designer, and you have to have things to go with it, and have to have a rhythm with the house and everything. That's why the boss gives you in charge of what's going on in the house, with the materials, the electronics, and more stuff like that. So that's pretty much how it is, and Shani can continue from there.
So now we're going to be doing how are you going to do it? How are you going to deal with interior design? So basically, how are you going to deal with interior design? So let's say I just study how they do interior designer, and this is my first time doing interior design in real life, and I'm literally doing real work. So let's say I'm very nervous. I do not know what to do.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you just I don't feel like I can do it. I don't get enough.
Exactly.
You'll always get enough, even if you put your heart in it, you'll get enough. So let's say I am nervous, just like I said, and then my boss is like, okay, my favorite color is this. You can put on this and this. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. And then you like imagine things out of nowhere. Yeah, imagine things out of nowhere, like saying, what if he's too strict? What if he doesn't like the color? What if he doesn't like this? All of that, if you just let it go and put your heart into it, into designer, you can just pass the whole test.
You'll eventually succeed, pretty much. That's what it really is about. So yeah, I can definitely agree on that as well.
Yeah, and you need to put your passion in there. If you don't put your heart in it and just imagine things, they're not gonna see the art.
Exactly.
They're gonna see the tryness. If you feel like you're not gonna try, just do it.
Exactly.
Believe in yourself that you can do it. Just be like, I can do it. I know his color now. I know what to put in. So you just need to believe in yourself. You don't need to do anything. Just believe in yourself.
Exactly. So also, when you're doing interior design, you have to be passionate about it. You can't just do it as a job of anything like that and you're not passionate about it. Because eventually, you cannot succeed if you're not doing the things in the way that you're actually heartfelt with and you have a connection with. Because all you have to do with interior designer, you have to be passionate, committed, and also heartfelt. So you have to put your heart into it and have your brain committed and focused. So that's how you do it. And any opportunity comes your way, you have to rethink about it because it might be a bad opportunity or a good opportunity. You have to look for your opportunity. You have to have the biggest decisions as well. So that's how you also have to be an improving interior designer as well.
And when you're doing interior designer, you have to think, let's say I'm doing interior designer and I'm like, this is so hard. What if I'm doing the wrong thing? You're like, is this the right thing or is this the wrong thing? And you're like, you just eventually forget everything because of your feelings.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do interior designer, do not force yourself to not. Because if you don't do the interior designer, if you do it, you're not gonna see the art. They're just gonna see the hurtness.
Yeah, the work, the hard work. Because if you're doing interior designer, if you're passionate about it, you're actually gonna do it easier and have it heartfelt. But they're just gonna see hard work. They're just gonna be like, and you can be like. And that also just encourages you to be like, oh, I don't need this job anymore. I'm too done. This is too hard. That's how you see that you're not passionate about it. So that's how you have to pick your things passionately and have it all in focus. That's all you always have to do as well.
And when you're doing interior designer, if you being like, oh no, I don't know what to do. I forgot. I don't know. I just did everything I had in my mind. There's so much art you can put in if you have your heart in it.
Exactly.
Because let's say you're seeing a person who is who is good at interior designer, and you just be like, the way they told me that I try too much, this eventually feels like I don't do enough. If you don't feel interior designer, you can just. You don't need to be scared to tell the boss. You don't need to be scared to tell the boss. If you don't feel your heart in it, you can just leave it.
Exactly. So that's the whole point of interior designer. That's the whole road to interior designer. And that's how it goes. So you have to always be committed, focused, and you heard it from Shan, you heard it from me first, and this is good, and this is how it goes with when you have to be an interior designer, when you have to improve, when you have to do different kind of things at the same time. And it could be hard at times, but always know it's your passion, and I think it could stay that way. If you have different passions, you can choose, but you also can see what's your best effort, will you do the best, and all these kind of different options. So I think that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like, and as always,
bye!